All goodness emanates from God. So when you get disconnected with God, in a way you start getting disconnected with goodness and values. There's a word for arrogance. They say ego. Edging God out. You edge God out, you are full of arrogance. So the purpose is to get somewhere in a spiritual sense. How do you go about on this second journey? The first one is the spiritual journey. Now the second journey is what skills and things you need. So this is why values is the aspiration core toolkit. If I wanted to go on to Mount Everest, I need some toolkit. I can't climb the mountain with flip-flops, some oxygen cylinder maybe. So we need a toolkit for life to be able to improve our lot to become a good human being. Good for yourself, good for the society, good for the family.
We have some really well-rounded individuals here as a result of what we do. It's a really great place to work and to be a part of. And again, helping these young people to explore their faith in more depth and giving them the opportunity and the space and the time to reflect on their faith and to delve a little deeper is really, really important, and it's really fulfilling to be a part of that school environment.
Faith is very central and pivotal to everything that we do. We want Sikhs to become better Sikhs, Christians to become better Christians, Muslims to become better Muslims, Hindus to become better Hindus, and so forth. And we do this through not just about talking about faith and not just learning about faith, but actually learning from faith. And faith is very much at the centre of all this.
The faith side of things is really refreshing. Seeing our students pray each morning is really encouraging, that they're getting a deeper understanding of their faith and that they are engaging with that on a daily basis. Our prayers before school, our prayers at the start of the day, at lunch, at the end of the day, I think that's an ideal time for the students to stop and reflect and pause as part of their daily lives.
At the end of the day, we pray, and we have this other prayer for our year group, and the prayer we did in year 5 was St. Peter's Prayer of Protection. It's a very long prayer for Christians, and I didn't know it at all, so we did that every day. And when I learned it, I went home and I told my mum about it, and I taught her the prayer, and she was very proud that the school I was going to was giving me more things about my faith that I didn't even know.
The journey and thinking about how faith and the virtues are promoted in each of those phases and transitions is so different. And it's something that sometimes takes a little bit of a while to get your head around, but actually it's really beautiful to watch how it's flourished. I suppose within the nursery setting and the playgroup setting, prayer and virtues and faith is something that's almost done to the children. So something that we might recite, something that we may be part of, and they just watch and they just observe and pick up what they can. And moving into primary school, this is an age where they love praise, they love to get involved, they love to almost lead on such set items, and that's nice as well because it brings up the confidence, it brings up the joy that they have, and it definitely brings up a real understanding of who they are as an individual.
prayers here in the morning, they do prayers that they learned which they didn't learn anywhere else, which was just before their lunches and before they ate anything. So that was really nice to see, because it wasn't something that we'd been able to teach them or I'd ever known about before, and it was something that they'd learnt through the school.
If we even go further to talk about our 30 seconds of reflection at the start of every lesson, I often walk into lessons and do that with our students and ask them what they're thinking about, and some of the responses are really powerful, and they really do link back to, you know, the virtue of the week that we're thinking of and talking about, and our students are very capable of reflecting and giving you know, a meaningful response.
At the beginning I was really baffled with the idea of a virtues-led education, but since joining I've been pleasantly surprised, because you can see the impact that it has on the learning. For children, they're such kind-hearted, well-turned-out individuals, and you can see the impact it has on their learning, not just within the classroom, but outdoors in the playground, lunch area, otherwise as well. And that's our role as teachers. Primarily, we aim to just deliver lessons. However, at Nishkam, we believe that it's not just imparting educational wisdom, it's about teaching them all the wisdom from all religions.
What does wisdom teach us? Well, here's some things that I've found to develop your wisdom. You can learn about the nature of reality, what's real, what's not real, what's true. I still reflect and think about what I could do better, having that wisdom. To get a better understanding of other people and human nature in general, I think at Nishkam we are amazing at reflecting on different cultures, different religions, different faiths, learning about the world we live in, all the things that are happening in our world. We can link it back to our golden threads.
It is connections that make relationships. And so these golden threads, you know, they weave into the values in a beautiful way. Well, you take 3 or 5 values together, and it becomes more powerful.
So let's find out about something called golden threads. We've got 1, 2, 3 golden threads. Number 1 is love and forgiveness. Let's say it together.
Love and forgiveness.
Number 2, peace and collaboration.
Peace and collaboration.
We've talked about collaboration this week. Who can remember what collaboration means?
It's when you're together as a partner or as a team.
So when you're working with somebody, you're collaborating. And number 3, our last one, trust in the divine or God.
If you don't remember a virtue, you can just go to your passport and then you'll remember what a virtue does, and you'll remember how to show the virtue.
We start each lesson with a virtue reflection in which we all stand up and we all stand in silence reflecting on the virtue and how it can link and how it can help us within the lesson.
This school always teaches us about our virtues and faiths, and learning about other faiths is really inspirational, and it helps you learn more about other people, and it makes you more intrigued to learn about other faiths as well as your own.
So in order to get the very best out of our children, it's very important that as a staff are role modelling the virtues, the aspects of faith. So our staff training is geared around developing our staff to become role models for children and to be able to use their virtues in their teaching.
It's almost like a toolkit. Wherever there's a problem that arises or it's rewarding positive behaviour, we'll always refer to the virtues. And these virtues allow the children to go deeper into the reason behind why something has happened and the choices they can make. In a situation, it could be where a child has upset another child, and the opportunity arises there for us to use the virtues and the vices together. Could we have chosen love over hate? Could we have chosen forgiveness over revenge? And so forth. And the children have that deeper understanding of why something's happened and how they can actually improve that for the next time and make things better.
It's understanding that the children need that. They need that time to reflect. They need that time to hear, to listen, to be present. And I think as growing adults, we all need that. You know, we may not be singing the loudest, we may not be praying the loudest, but being present and being part of prayer, being part of congregations, Sangat as we may call it within the Sikh faith, is really important and very, very special to many of our children.
I really remember a CPD session that we had that a Holocaust survivor came in to talk about forgiveness. And I think at the time forgiveness was something I'd kind of personally struggled with, and I think the kind of her speech about the forgiveness to the soldiers that had murdered some of her family members really kind of rang true for me and made me reflect about kind of the importance of forgiveness and the spiritual journey that you go on through forgiveness.
So this year we've actually started a Virtues homework project in Key Stage 1. So these are projects that are promoted every half term and they seek to engage parents in our Virtues education as well as the children. They are reminded of a key virtue that we've learnt in the half term, and we share the passage from our Nishkam passport on Class Dojo.
I saw faith meaning something entirely different, meaning family, meaning values, meaning something that is in all of us and that we can all learn from each other. And instead of feeling fearful or confused or unsure about my faith, suddenly it became stronger. And when I lead collective worship now 2-3 times a week, it gives me such a sense of pride and a sense of belonging. And when I look at the staff around me and the children in front of me, suddenly it makes sense. And it's a wonderful way to start any day. We were always told growing up, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I. And suddenly I know that, and it might not be, the same God that we're talking about, but that presence, that divine presence, I feel it. And it has encouraged me then to be a better person in everything that I do.
Working in a virtues-led school where we talk about the virtues on a daily basis has had an impact on my own life in terms of I am so aware of these virtues on a day-to-day basis. I myself am looking for opportunities where I can use the virtues of love, compassion, forgiveness more often. Not only has it made me a stronger teacher and reflect on my relationship with the children in my class, but also beyond that with my friends, my family, those relationships have strengthened too, just because those virtues are at the forefront of my mind.
It is my hope that when our children have the opportunity to live, learn and witness virtues every day, then it will overflow into every aspect of their lives, transforming them into the best version they can possibly be of themselves.
I'm so proud of the way in which the Trust has dedicated itself to ensure that our youngsters are able to develop holistically as well as academically. We're all very clear in education what the academic agenda is and the hoops that we have to jump through, but actually it's in that other area of human growth and development that we put such an emphasis and such an amount of time to try and help and guide and support our students. We do it in so many ways. In the bricks and mortar, the way that the building is put together, by the way, by our volunteers, SEVA, selfless service, to create this school for our children. It's in our policies, adults as role models. It's in our language, the language of virtues. It's in our day, prayer at the start of the day, prayer in the middle of the day. We've developed prayer rooms for multi-faiths so that they can go and practice their prayer and faith before school, during lunchtime if they so wish. We have it built into our curriculum, not just in RE or in PSHE, but actually in all of our curriculum guides where we want to emphasise those things that make us human, those things that link us to the divine, those things that make us better people. Faith-inspired, virtues-led is the lens through which we look at everything.
It's a lifelong lesson. It stays with you all the way really. And then because the school are so good at teaching other people, we end up teaching other people about the values as well. So then when the whole community know about these values, and then we spread the word of God and good religion. So once we spread all the word of the values, it'll make the world a better place.
We are all born and we all die. And so the soul is on a journey. Those of us who believe in transmigration of soul, we are informed that 8.4 million species of life, and human species only one of that. And you could have gone through different realms of existence. You could have been a rock, you could have been an oak tree, you could be an animal, and finally, it's a privilege to become a human then. So where do we go from here? With a leap of faith, we can end up merge with God. That's the best. You become God. You could end up in heaven. You could end up in hell. These are not abstract things. When you read the scriptures, you come to know, yes, there is something like that. But sometimes you see a trailer of all that in this world. So the question, we are born, what is our origin, what is our destination or goal, and what is the purpose of life? That is the spiritual journey of the spirit. And within that, of course, values will only take you to the goal you have in your mind. That is to reach God, merge with Him. You will not reach that goal without values.